I was not delivered into this world in defeat, nor does failure curse in my veins. I will hear not those who weeps and blame, for their disease is contagious. The slaughterhouse of failures is not my destiny. The prizes of life are the end of its journey, not here the beginning. And it's not given to me to know how many steps are necessary in order to reach my goal. Failure I may still encounter at 1,000 steps. Yet success hides behind next bend. Inside the start, I will believe to the raiders who flushes away the mountains, the ants that divorce the tigers, the slaves that build the pyramid. I will build my castle, one break at a time, for I know that the small attempt repeated will complete any undertaking. I will never consider these words and phrases as quiet, cannot, unable, impossible, out of question, improbable, failure, unworkable, hopeless, and most of all, retreat. I will avoid despair. But if the disease of mine should infect me, then I will do it, and I will endure. I will remember the ancient law of averages, and I will bend into my game. Each frown I met only prepares for me to smile. Each misfortune I encounter, I will carry it in the seeds of tomorrow's below. I must have the night to prepare the day. I must fail often to succeed only once. I will persist and I succeed. Never will I allow any day to end with failure. Thus, I will plant the seeds of tomorrow's success and gain an insurmountable advance over those who cease their labor at the prescribed time. When others cease for the struggles, then mine will begin, and my harvest will be full. Nor will I allow yesterday's success to lull me into this complacency. For this is the greatest foundation of failure. I will forget the happenings of the day that is gone, whether they were good or bad, and greet the new sun with confidence that this will be the best day of my life. So long as there is a breath in me, that long will persist, for I know one of the principles of success. If I will persist long enough, I will win. I will persist, and I will win.
When calling comes to the mind, what does it take to live sublime? When honor goes beyond the truth, man would never speak. What does it take to be someone holy and holding others' lives? Someone we call a champion. One community, one WVSU Lamula campus, one teacher, all unite and brave as healing and brighter future begins. With a relentless sense of optimism, there is always one great person in every corner of the nation who usually lends a hand, grabs minds, and speaks for heart. Someone who doesn't have to fight, yet give his life for us. Someone who doesn't have extraordinary power, yet empowered. but set standard for humanity. Someone we call a teacher. As COVID-19 entered the portal of teaching, it set difference and bring challenges in each educational system. The pandemic has caused great and numerous challenges in our lives, especially in our studies. Our teachers sent us home with packets of assignments to complete, but it is up to us to decide when and how we will accomplish the task. At first, this greater amount of freedom and choice feels good. Finally, we get to decide what we want. But time is so tough. It is easy to fall behind, to be distracted by other more desirable options, Netflix, video games, or procrastinating. This uncertainty made us realize how important it is to have face-to-face classes, to receive first-hand teaching from our mentors, and to further gain experiences to learn from each other and to create memories that neither social media nor video games. No matter what it takes, the rebuilding of more champions must continue. Education will be our effort to heal the world as well. Behind the great triumph and towering heights of every other profession, they stood in humility, a great foundation, a silent companion in every victorious endeavor. Their lives, a teacher. Look at the teachers. They stand in honor behind the rocks of responsibility set upon the shoulder. In their hands lies the most significant task, to mold the lives of students and turn their failures into success, to shape the nation, though fearless. But a teacher will never be a teacher with the heart, a vision so wide. They got their steering touches and inspiring voices from within, that only a listening could fathom the depth of beyond measure a teacher could give. In spite of the changing world, our teachers remain indispensable, able to create champions within their figures. They are the figures of healing, braveness, and dignity. As I stand here before you, I am challenging you. Have you realized the great role of the teacher in the healing process of each social breakdown? As shown in the pandemic, they made a crucial contribution in ensuring continuity of learning and help students in the wellness of them. In this crisis, I salute the relentless optimism of the teacher helps shown, with great leadership and innovation, and ensuring that learning never stops, that no learning is left. Around the world, they work individually and collectively to find solutions and create new learning environment for their students and allow education to continue. Together with the other thousand lives we have touched, we stand to honor you, our dear teachers. I salute those of you.
One community, one web ULC, united and brave as healing and brighter future begins. COVID-19, coronavirus, pandemic, social distancing, quarantine, face mask, distance learning, and lockdown. These are just few of the words that became famous and are almost used on a daily basis for the past 2 years. The world has come into an awkward standstill 2 years ago when the COVID-19 pandemic rose from the depths of oblivion and made its way into the world, unleashing its deadly talents on everything that crosses its path, crippling businesses, every nation's economy, tourism, education, and sending healthcare workers in every part of the globe to overwork and overexhaust themselves to combat this monstrosity. People were told to stay at home for their safety. Quarantine restrictions were enforced and minimum health protocols were observed to prevent the spread of the virus. Because of this unforeseeable ordeal, academic institutions around the world were forced to modify their ways and means of learning. Classrooms, chalkboards, scientific laboratories, armchairs, and the imposing and academic ambience the school brings to students were replaced with laptops, desktops, Wi-Fi, smartphones, and modules, and the more laid-back, cozy setting a home can offer. Here in the Philippines, particularly here in the West Visayas State University Lambuno campus, when the news came out that classes will be suspended for 2 to 3 weeks, we, the students, were filled with hope. All will be back to normal within a few weeks. It turned out that face-to-face classes may be gone for good, and almost 3 years from the fateful news in class suspension, here we all are, trudging our way into the new normal, and coping up in various ways to keep our sanity, dreams, and determination to finish school alive. Throughout our transition into the new normal and adjustment to distance learning, I have sensed that besides the distance that separates students, the lingering issue of social stratification can be totally felt. Privileged, well-off students have access to almost anything: speedy internet connection, premium accounts on academic sites, and they don't have necessarily to leave their homes, whereas less privileged students have to scour their way to places with better signal, enduring bad weather, muddy terrain, and lagging cell phones, just to attend their classes. Teachers too face the same dilemma. They too were thrust into this blended learning quite unprepared and have to abandon the usual or conventional type of learning, and have to make do with everything just to impart what they have learned to the students. Education, nowadays, so it seems, is not for the sake of learning anymore, but merely for the sake of compliance and passing. These hindrances, however, quite defacing the educational system, nevertheless made a tougher and evolved person out of students, that despite the distance, these students can still learn something. They have learned to become one in pursuing academic excellence in the midst of crisis, one in helping their fellow students who are less privileged, and one in making their aspirations come true, no matter how elusive it might be. Through the efforts of our servant leaders, the student body are able to come together through various activities, and students are able to enjoy and take a break from their usual routine, which can be quite draining. The present administration of the West Visayas State system also heard the cries of our fellow students who are struggling in this blended learning, and decided to give wellness break to students and faculty and staff every semester to take good care of their mental health. Beside unity, this blended learning pushed the students of WebSLC to become braver individuals as we hurtle through our daily lives, setting aside our fears of contracting the virus and become afflicted, and somehow still finding ways to cope up with the situation and be able to submit works on time. Healing. This is what the world needs right now, and somehow we are almost there to that phase. The threat of the new Omicron variant looms ahead, but it does not drench the spirits of students as we are anticipating for the reopening of limited classes next year. And in the light of this new hope, we might be seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, that at last we will be able to see each other again in the future, and come together and strive for excellence within the walls of the institution. That at long last there is a brighter future ahead for our students. How long to see the day when we all see each other again in school. And here's to healing and a brighter future for us united and braver students of the West Visayas State Lambuno campus.
Friends, fellow students, our dear viewers, we are here today in line with the tradition of celebrating and showcasing the talents we are endowed with, in pursuit of optimism. Let me share to you a secret, or perhaps I should say insecurity, I kept to myself until this moment. Upon reading the theme we have for this year's online campus literary musical contest, one community, one WebSLC, united and brave as healing and brighter future begins. Only one word registered in my mind clearly: optimism. As an industrial technology student, do you have what it takes to be optimistic? We're not as talented and intelligent as with students in other courses. We're even considered as underdogs. Believe me, that's what was running my mind. To find out for myself, I asked Google first to find a better understanding of the word. The answer that I got was that optimistic is a choice. Personally, that eased my anxiety for only a bit. Forgive me if I lack faith in myself. As a Filipino, it is normal. We normally lack faith in ourselves as a people. Don't you agree with me? I know at the back of your minds you do. Lack of faith in ourselves is a great cultural flaw we have to accept. We're in the stage of acceptance now, and the step we need to do next is to find ways on how to tackle the threats of insecurity and low self-image in the skins of history, and with faith, positivity, and optimism to rebuild the Filipino spirit and to create a better-looking tapestry for the future. As what Alex Saxon said in his book, Faith in the Filipino, 12 wonderful things about the Filipino and our motherland. We need to rediscover our beauty, potential, and greatness as a people, those that God endowed in the Filipino and our motherland. If lack of faith in us as a people is one great hindrance towards progress and national development, then as a person, my lack of belief in my talent and capacity is my hindrance towards better self-image and optimism. But somehow, acknowledging the fact that I am now here, standing in front of you, and not someone else from my school is giving me assurance that I indeed have a talent. The talent of being able to understand and speak the language of the world. I am a Filipino. I'm one of the best communicators of the world. Delivering this oration in front of you is my beginning, and I believe in the promise of small beginning. If Google is right that optimism is a choice, and I believe it is, this may step towards better self-image and optimism. Thank you.
A journey to academic quality and excellence. West Visayas State University commits to develop lifelong learners empowered to generate knowledge and technology and transform communities as agents of change. In this immense mission of the university, the whole educational system unceasingly undertakes challenges of times. 100 years and more of existence is monumental evidence of the resolute commitment of the institution through its various connections in educating Filipinos to become viable, productive, and service-oriented citizens of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, the strong wave of change is currently encompassing our social and intellectual landscape. Inevitable change threatens to corrupt the burgeoning minds and moral values of individuals. But I believe that the endless efforts and inspiration of our educators always meet and answer the difficulty of these confrontations of times. The pillars of our institution are equipped and resilient to respond to the test of times in pursuing at all costs the university's mission and vision without compromising the pursuit of quality education. Numerous educational intricacies beset our country today. Countless failures and efforts were waged to seek better solutions to these problems. We can feel the apprehensions of our leaders in the educational sector. The quest for quality education continuously challenges them. The revolution for modern technologies in the educational process interminably urge them to contemplate how this can be integrated in a system for innovative purpose, thus bringing learning to fruition. Despite all the attempts to wane the zeal and passion of our educators in our institution, they have kept their faith and enthusiasm alive in the name of excellence, creativity and innovation, service as magnate of the colossal institution, West Visayas State University. I believe that the university's ceaseless efforts of advancement to the higher level of learning and with its efficient and committed faculty and staff who continually seek further studies to become experts in their own field of specialization, we ensure quality education to the next generations through their inspiration. The institution has passed the time of atrocities and complexities for so many years. Years of achievements in spite of challenges. Years of service in spite of difficulties. Years of victories in spite of various tests. These laurels of West Visayas State University verbalize the volume of immortal contributions to individual, to the nation, and to the world. Amidst the hostility and haste of society, the university tenaciously builds individuals with good courage. Amidst moral degradation, the West Visayas State University firmly inspires individuals with strong values and characters. Amidst pandemic and disorder, West Visayas State University steadfastly connects individuals of friendship and harmony. Amidst achievements and accomplishments, West Visayas State University confidently empowers individuals of humility and service to mankind. Amidst hard times and problems, West Visayas State University remains robust and strong as it continues its journey to academic quality and excellence. Soar high, West Visayas State University!